Hello guys, how are you today? This is Paula back to tell you about a great challenge that's out there. It is called 52 Tags. So it is being put on by Ann Brooke, textile artist. So it's over at Sew for the Soul. And she's having a challenge where you have 52 tags. And it started 2 weeks ago, but she's saying if you want to join in, you can just get caught up at your leisure. You can still do them in videos, or you can do 2 a video or whatever. But the goal is one tag a week. Now, if you don't stitch, you might not like this. But I will tell you it's simple stitching, and I think you'll learn a lot from it. So, and then when you're done with it, she'd love if you would post it to Instagram. Go to your account and post hashtag 52 tags, HANNE, made, MADE. So I will hold that up and show that to you at the very end. I will print it on something that will give you clarity on exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Because I may have not even said it correctly. You know how I am. Sometimes I say it like it's supposed to be, but I'll just be honest with you. I'm not a big Instagram person. I do have an Instagram, and I really need to learn how to use it, but I just have a hard time just settling into it. So we're going to get started. What you will need is anything white that you desire to put on your tag. Now you will need 52 tags, and you just put them on a ring. And this is 51 because my other one is right here. I may try to find some white ones, but for today's, I did use a white one just because I wanted it to all look white, and it kind of gave it a yellow tint underneath. So I decided that I would do, I'm writing down the Instagram here to make it easy for everyone, including myself. Let me get this real quick. Again, her name is Ann, and she's a super nice lady. I have not got to meet her or talk with her. I would love to do that at some point if she'd like. All right, so let's get started. Now, here's the Instagram. So you go to your account and put in the hashtag number, and then you post your picture. Okay, so we'll show that again at the end. So I just grabbed a bunch of things, okay? I grabbed a bunch of little things, okay? And I tried a lot of different stuff, and that just had too much of a yellow tint for me. You know, I just tried different things like doilies, you know, and different kinds of lace or trim. I liked this one, but it showed the tea stain, and I didn't want to do that. So, and I did try different handkerchiefs like this one that's just plain, which would work great. But then I found this handkerchief, which I loved, because I thought, oh, that'll make a beautiful tag. So I did end up cutting a piece out from this corner. Now, I did that ahead of time because I don't want us to have to spend our whole time doing that. Now, first of all, I just have a tag that measures, I can't remember what these measure. I think they measure like 5. Yeah, they're 5 1/4 by 2.5. Okay, that's the size tag I'm using. You can use whatever size you want. Anne is using like a khaki color cardstock, and they kind of have a rounded top. They're really cute. Hers are like a 3x2. So you can decide, you know, what you want to work with, because you need to remember that you're going to be stitching. You will glue some, but you're going to be stitching this, okay? So my first thing I decided was I found this in my trim bucket, and I don't know what it's called because even the store didn't know. I was in there having some fabric cut at Hobby Lobby, and this was just laying there. You know, it didn't have any kind of tags or anything on it. So she sewed it to me and my friend, and I brought it home, and I've just kind of been playing with it. It looks like the old fishnet pantyhose. And I know that, excuse me, had to get a drink. I know that because I wore them, okay? This is what it looked like over our skin. Yes. So, and they would break apart. You could wear them quite a while, and then they'd break apart, and then you'd have a big hole. Yeah, it was not, that part was not cool. So what I'm going to do is I haven't trimmed it down to fit perfect yet. So I'm just going to hold it up, and I'm using my sewing scissors, and I'm just going to cut it the best I can. You can cut it smaller if you want. You can do however you want. You know, she's going to give you ideas once a week, and she's not really put any rules on it except to stitch and to use a tag. So, so that, I just think it's going to be fun. I know Gail is in it, I think. Gosh, I can't remember everybody. Oh, and I think Rachel is doing it, but there's a lot of people that are doing this tag challenge. And if you like to stitch and you just haven't even tried, just jump in. You can use running stitch, you can use back stitch, you can use whatever stitch you want to use. Okay, so now there's that. It's all on here, nice and neat. Now I'm not going to sew this or glue this onto the tag till the very end. We'll do the sewing separate. And so now we've got the hanky, or the handkerchief, whichever one you want to call it. I've always called them hankies. And you want to line the lacy side up on this particular situation, or I do. And if I have a little hanging over, that doesn't bug me. But I'll go in and trim out the shape of the tag also. So you got to really hold on to everything. I mean, you can use some clips. I think I will. Let me grab them. These are quilting clips. You can get them at any sewing store. And let me tell you, they help. Sometimes I forget about them, but this is definitely a time you want to use them, right? Okay. The reason I added that netting, well, it's not really netting, but I guess it is. I don't know. Underneath is because I liked that it gave this design through the handkerchief, okay? So, I'm going to pin it or clip it where I, want it to stay. Okay. All right. Okay, so now I am going to clip it at the top as well, because those are the ones I'm going to keep the look up there. So I've already got that close to the edge. We've already trimmed the netting, and now we're going to trim this side. Use a good pair of scissors if you can. I think you'll like your results better. And anything hanging over the tag here is going bye-bye. I hope you guys have had a great day. We've been having a little bit crazy things going on in our life, and I'll talk to you about those at some point. Nothing bad for as far as Rick and I go, but I just don't want to talk about it to people at this point. Okay, so now we can go ahead and clip this as well if we'd like. You know, get it all snug as a bug. Right there. Now, we've got the corner of the tags to think about, and I'm going to go ahead and trim them so that you can tell it's a tag. And over here as well. Of course, I have a brand new pair of scissors that I got for Christmas, but my sister forgot to bring them with her when she came. Have you ever done that? I tell you, I've done stuff like that before. I told her not to worry about it. Just bring it when she sees me next. Okay, here is one little spot that I want to straighten up right here. Trying really hard not to get out of camera. This is one of those things that you want to keep close to you, and I have to reach out for you to see. So, okay, now we need to trim the very bottom, which won't be that difficult. We're just barely got a little bit right here, and then we're going to decorate on top. If you can stitch the things in layers, pin them in where you want them, it will be easier for you. Okay? That's just what I think. Now, the next thing I thought we'd do, look how pretty that's looking already. Just knowing that it's the shape of a tag, right? So right here in this bare spot, I'm going to put lace. I thought about putting some more of this, and I might. Let me cut it and just see how it looks. I thought about putting some more of that so you could see it outside of the hanky. Getting that trimmed down just right. Okay, there we go. So we'll have that right there. Kind of fills in that bare spot. And then we have a little piece of lace. I just found it just like that. And so I thought, well, we'll just put it on here. Let's see. I'm trying to see what is front and what is back. There we go. And I'm just going to put it all the way over to the corner. Just like this. Pretty much just like I did the this other piece. Okay, just keep it over here. Now, the next thing I want to do is add this piece of trim. Believe it or not, I had a different trim and it just disappeared off my desk. And I don't know what happened to the thing. That's so crazy to me. But I think this is lovely too. It's got, you know, just a real pretty design on it. I'm trying to decide which is the front and which is the back. This is the front. So I'm going to take this clip off and add this right here, just where it drops off the tag, just barely drops off the tag. Okay, now I know I trimmed this to fit here perfect, I thought, but it looks like it's still a little bit off. So I'm going to move it up a little bit more right here. And then I'll clip it on this side over here. Crazy, right? A lot of clipping. It's easier to me than trying to pin a bunch of pins. But you can, I mean, pins are what we are supposed to use when we sew. Okay, let me make sure I got that straight. I do. So I'm going to flip it over and trim it right here. This way we know it's correct, right? And then we're going to clip it back. Now there's a lot of things you can add to this tag too. I felt like. I'm definitely going to add this piece of doily. This was a doily that was made out of all these little flowers, and I cut them apart, and we're going to add them right in here. Okay? And I'm letting it overlap a little bit right here on this trim at the bottom. Now, I had this beautiful vintage button, which also left my desk somehow. I had it all laid out. Do you ever have that happen to you? I was so frustrated. Now, the button was bigger than this little iridescent button. And that's why I liked it. And it was an older button. But this is the next size I have in the iridescent. And I couldn't decide. Just couldn't decide. So I pulled out some of these little flowers that you can get at Hobby Lobby. Now that's not vintage, which really mattered to me. I wanted to use all vintage, but I do like the way it looks. So right now, this is what we're going to stitch. We're going to move the button for now. And we are going to get out straight pins. And we want to kind of lift it up underneath, or just pin it from where you're at. Just don't pin it through your card. Now, keeping all this together is going to be the trick. Just so you know. I haven't done any stitching like this in a long, long time. I don't know that I ever have stitched on a tag, but I'm going to love it, I think. And keeping everything in its place is hard, you know, because everything wants to fall off, but you really want to stitch it if you can, you know, with as little pieces as you have to. Yeah. And then I'm thinking, why not go back over here and just on the side that is pinned and that's not connected, we'll connect it with these little clips the best we can. It's not going to be easy. I can see it now. But that's okay. I think anything that's worthwhile is hard. So it's harder. So it'll be fine. Okay. Now this side right here is trying to come down. So we're just going to straighten it back up. The chances are I will not get done with this tag. And you can either watch the next video for tag 2 to see how it turns out, or you can go over to Instagram, to your Instagram or to that Instagram address and see what's happening. Okay, so I'm going to get this side up here pinned real quick. I don't want it coming apart on me. Okay. And then over here on this side, we're going to need to pin it as well. Try to keep everything together. I'm going to make sure I'm getting everything straight. So I'm going to pin that little ribbon here at the bottom, or just some kind of trim, I'm not sure. It's just came out of a vintage basket of ribbon I had. And who knows? You never know when you buy those baskets of vintage lace and so forth, if they all are vintage. I hope you guys find this fun. I've never done a challenge before, so this is exciting for me. I have a lot going on, and you know, I have a new channel, so you need to run over there and check it out. It's called Stamping Up Like Crazy. It's a card making channel, and if I say so myself, there's been some pretty good cards so far. Okay, so right here, I'm stitching that netting to the top. Okay, so just try to keep it as together as you can. I'm going to keep everything as straight as possible. You know, it's when you're doing stuff loose like this, it is kind of hard to keep all those pieces, one piece from falling down from another piece or whatever. Okay, let me make sure I've got something everywhere. I'm going to go back here and pin this a little better. Not through there, because it doesn't want to pin through that flower. I'm trying to grab that on the back. So let me see if we got everything pinned down. We should probably pin right here again. And then we'll be ready to move along. Now, I have gone ahead and threaded 2 needles because I didn't want you guys to have to sit and watch me thread for 2 hours just to get it through. So I didn't have my threading, my little gadgets to thread my needles on this floor of the house. So I just thought, oh well, we'll just do what we can do. I've threaded 2 needles, and we just keep our fingers crossed that that's all we need, right? Okay, so I just pulled 2 threads in, and this is vintage DMC, so it's very old. As you can see, I bought this great box of all these old. They may not even be old, but everything inside the big box was. And there was some old sewing machine bobbins that, a whole box of them that were pre-filled. And they were made out of like a heavy cardboard, and it said some really, it was for like an old model machine. So I was excited. I thought, oh my gosh, I love the thought of this. So I'm just going to do like a running stitch around the outside. And basically what you do is just bring your thread or your needle up through the bottom. Okay. Now try not to pull it too tight because it'll pucker your tag. And it doesn't have to be little tiny stitches. I mean, you can do bigger ones if that's what you desire. I kind of just am pulling it as I go. You might be able to see this, but I don't think it'll be a big issue. Because everything's white, so it all kind of blends. Once you get everything stitched on here, then you can attach it to your tag. When you're doing lace like this, you don't have a lot of things to attach to. Just keep that in mind. Just hope for the best. Stick it through whatever you can find to stick it through. Let's see, where did I end up? Over here. If you know how to crochet, not crochet, if you know how to embroidery, you can use embroidery stitches. You can use a running stitch. You can slow stitch, you know, however you want to do it. Because it's your tag. And we're keeping the tags on a ring and keep them kind of in order. I would number them in the back. And we're also, if you would like to do it as well, we're doing quotes on the back. So I'm doing lighthearted, you know, happy ones, not sad things. But you could do whatever you want. Okay. I have to watch the time because time flies away when you're sewing. You know, you could be sitting there for 3 hours and not realize it. So if you can do this kind of stitching, I feel like you could do just about anything. Just takes learning how to do it. And now we're getting down to that second layer that we put on here at the bottom. Every time you feel it pull, you want to go back and straighten it out because we don't want it to gather. I believe the next challenge is going to involve a heart. The next tag. So that ought to be fun. Really have to concentrate. There's not much talking going on because that's what I'm doing. Okay, we're getting down to the lower portion here where our little trim is on the bottom. I will be working on a Valentine book, and maybe 2, and they're really going to be adorable. Just FYI, if you're in need of a Valentine book, this is going to be fun. These are going to be fun ones. And then it will be I'll be working on a guest design team project after that. I'm going to flip this over and see if it's attaching. It is. That's awesome. Gotta figure out where I'm at now. Oh, I'm down here. Don't take out those needles, Paula. Crazy me. I had the tag turned around. Doesn't take much to confuse me. And after we do this, we'll stitch the things that need to be stitched on the inside of the card, or in the center of the tag. I have to remind myself it's not a card, it's a tag. I gotta check and make sure we're recording. We are. So like I said, this is just an example type video. I am going to go ahead and go the hour for those that want to. But if you don't, you can wait and see the final results when I do the next tag video. I just want to send out a reminder to run over to my new channel and watch one of the videos and see what you think. And if you like it and you think you would have fun watching those, subscribe. I'd appreciate it a lot. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I'd appreciate it just as much. I love making cards. I've always loved making them. I just don't have enough time to do it, so I thought, well, maybe I'd start doing them on video. And the favorite, I'm sorry, got a pen in my mouth. I shouldn't do that. My favorite supplies for that are Stampin' Up. That's how I ended up doing it that way. Honestly, I'm not giving a lot of thought to how I'm tacking this down. You know, I just am trying to attach to the bottom netting and keeping it from getting too tight. We're getting over to this one side now. We had snow on the ground when we woke up this morning, and now the sun is shining. So crazy. Our weather is nuts. Sorry, I keep forgetting and pulling it toward me because I don't see that well, and I want to make sure I'm getting it where it needs to be. Okay, come on. It's fun to take out time and stitch. It's very relaxing. And I think all of us can use a little bit relaxing with what's going on in our world right now. At least I know I could. It's really hard. Okay. Okay, that part did not attach through. So I'm going to grab it right there and take it back through with this next stitch. It's hard for that really thin stuff, you know, to even attach. That's why the running stitch works great on that. It was fun just picking out white things. Now I know the next time is a heart and a background, and you're supposed to use contrast. So that should be fun. I'm going to take this pin out. Started off as a running stitch, and it still is. It's just hard to run through big gaps. So I'm trying to grab hold, you know, where I can. Come on, come on. Whoopsie, dropping my needle. Okay, got that going, getting closer to the top. I hear the pooch coming up the stairs. She's not supposed to be up here. She kind of thinks she can do whatever she wants. I have to get her down. She's not allowed up here because my granddaughter is very allergic to dogs. And this is something new. She was when she was younger, and then she kind of just wasn't anymore, and now it's back with vengeance. And that's how we ended up getting the dog, was because she was doing better. But you know, nothing lasts forever, I guess. My daughter said she didn't see any sense in me getting rid of my dog. You know, since we live in a different town now, it wouldn't be like she'd be over here all the time. She's got asthma too, so that doesn't help. Okay, so we're almost to the very top. We just have this little bit here to do, and then we can start attaching it. It's so quiet in my room today. I guess there's no reason for it not to be, but it just seems extra quiet. Okay, I'm gonna move that little needle. Whoops! I'm telling you, when you're not accustomed to sewing on tags, it's a different shape. And when you're doing it on lace to boot, it's definitely different. Just kind of have to handle it with care. But I do love the way it's turning out. Except I'd like to be able to hide some of my stitches a little bit better. Even though, you know, they're the same color, they're still, you can still see them. I may have to do something fancy. Don't ask me what, I have no idea. Okay, this is the last stitch. Now the first thing I want to do is make sure that it's nice and where it needs to be. We need to stitch this down and across here, but we've got the outside done. Awesome. Let me knot this off or tie it off. So that we can work on the other portion. I'm not here to teach you how to sew. I'm just doing the challenge and thought you'd have fun watching me as I do that. Okay, so I think I'll tie it off one more time and then we'll move on. Okay, so I'm going to trim this little thread. Now I'm going to go ahead and tie this in a knot. I don't want to run out of thread, so I'm going to use this, and we're going to go right here, pick up on this lace, and do the same sort of thing, just a running stitch, or you can even go from side to side. Let's do that. That way it'll look different. So you went up on your fabric and then you're going down kind of like a, with a little slant, like if you was doing a hem or something, I guess. Yeah, I like that stitch way better. And I might have enough to get right around the edge. Whoops, sorry. My fingers are thumbly. Thumbly? That is not even a word. They're awkward is more like it, because ever since I had that surgery on my hand, my fingers don't grab like they should, and it does make a difference. on how clumsy I am. Okay, just have a little bit to do here. My thread is getting short. Which is okay. My husband is working on the upstairs guest bathroom. We have two up here, but that's the guest bathroom. We're totally ripping it out. Okay, one more stitch and then we'll tie it off. And this is underneath this flower that was crocheted, it looks like. There we go. Now we're going to turn it over. And I've gotten it so short, I'm just going to tie it into a regular knot because it's long enough to do that, just barely. So, you know, you get a better attachment, I feel like, when you can do this. But we have so many holes in our design here. It's hard to know. Then trim each end off. Don't cut your netting, Paula. Okay, so there we go on that portion. Now, we need to go ahead and get our other thread and needle here, just laying out nicely. And we need to go ahead and get this flower, this applique type flower down. And I'm just going to start right here in the center. Whoops. And I'm going to work my way out. Now this is a little bit easier to stitch because it's heavier and thicker. And it's trying to get in a knot on me. Hopefully it won't do that. Gotta get my thread all straightened out again. And I'm just going to go around the flower and just put a little stitch in it every now and then. That way to give it a little bit of dimension if we don't flatten it completely out. And I'm hoping when we're done here that everything is still the shape it's supposed to be. We'll find out, right? This one is really tough to get through. You'll find that when you use some thicker things. Well, I have a little needle or a little hole, it tied itself in a knot. I guess that's the best way to say it. I may have to let you guys go at this point, and because really after I stitch around the outside of the flower, it doesn't want to come loose, which is aggravating. I probably shouldn't have put so much string on my needle. It is easy to get knots like that when you do, but usually it's not that hard to get them out. I still have one. It's very tight right here, but I'm going to see if I can work it out. It's so tiny, it might go through, so let's see. We can always hope, right? If it doesn't, I'll just leave that flower for later, and this thread just is being stubborn. I'll leave it for later. Yeah, it's not going to come through. Let me just cut that off. This is what you have to, you know, expect to happen, because it just, sometimes it does. And I don't want to, oh, there it goes. It's going to go through, but let's see if it's going to knot up again. It's trying to. See right here? It's trying to. Okay. I'm by no means an expert at stitching. I just have fun. That's pretty much where it is for me. Okay, now I'm going to go over here. My video cut off for a second. I'm sorry if there's a little bleep in it. Trying to see where I'm at here. Go slow enough that maybe my thread will cooperate. I know our time is close to being up. And like I said, this is the last thing we're going to stitch. Yep, see, it's acting up. This thread needs to be new thread. I am using old vintage thread, which can cause you problems, but I really wanted to try and use it. It's trying to knot up on me. Oh well, that is far enough for this video, because I don't want us to go over. I try real hard to keep it at that place. So here is how it's looking. This will just be attached to the card, and then I'll stitch through it in certain places to the back of the card, and then there'll be a quote with today's date, and so I can remember that it's tag 1. All right, guys, I hope you're having fun with this. Go check out Anne's channel. And don't forget to post the pictures on Instagram after you join. Let Anne know. And her channel, I got to look again because I'm new to it. Sew for the Soul. And her name is Anne Brooke Textile Artist. Go check her out. You'll have fun. See you next time. Bye-bye.